Bonjour à tous et bienvenue sur cet épisode 170 d'Only a Giant Podcast. Moi c'est Thiergow et comme vous pouvez le constater, je suis pour le moment solo, même si j'ai piqué à Plax son fond d'écran préféré. On fait un nouvel épisode dédié à la communauté des fans des Giants autour du monde. Comme vous le savez, l'épisode précédent, on a passé un peu de temps à discuter avec Ruben de NY Giants Spain. Et pour cet épisode, on a en quelque sorte traversé l'Atlantique pour aller au Mexique à la rencontre d'Antonio-Henrique qui représente NY Giants MX de la communauté mexicaine. Encore une fois, une discussion très intéressante où on parle un peu des fans au Mexique, leur lien avec les Giants et aussi de sujets d'actualité. Je vous invite à cliquer sur les liens dans la description pour suivre la communauté mexicaine, puisque justement le but de ces épisodes, c'est vraiment de faire grandir cette communauté internationale des Giants. Et sans plus attendre, je vous laisse profiter de cette discussion avec Antonio-Henrique. So we are here today with Antonio-Henrique, Toki Dart from New York Giants, Mexico. Do you prefer me to call you Antonio-Henrique or Toki?
Whatever you like. I mean, for me, it would be awesome. Dart, Reeves, Holton, Hood. So, but Antonio, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, welcome to the podcast, Antonio-Henrique. It's really good to have you. We've been setting this up for a few weeks now. This is the second episode in this edition of Giants Fan Around the World. As I told you in our correspondence, the purpose is really to put forward fans of the New York Giants outside of the US, because, I mean, if you go to the US, you can find lots. And I guess if you go to Mexico, because it's so close to the United States, you can find a lot as well. But what we're interested in to talk about is to talk first a bit about you, to understand who you are and how you became a New York Giants fan.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. So glad to communicate with other countries, people, because we have so many interesting point of view around our team, around the world. So thank you again. Well, I have been a fan of the New York Giants since 1986. I'm about to be 46 years old. I remember when I was 6, I was watching a game with my father, which was a playoff game between the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. And in that game, we beat the 49ers 49-6. So I was like 6 and amazed because that kind of score was not like a common one. So at that time, I knew that the Big Blue G-Men were going to be my team through the years. I think this generation, we've been very lucky to see several good players in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. I mean, if I could talk be a few, just between a few, it's Bill Sims, Jeremy Shockey, of course, Raul Alegre, who was the kicker, Mexican kicker for New York Giants a long time ago, Lawrence Taylor, Eli Manning. Recent times, I was very, well, accustomed to watch Saquon Barkley, but I mean, he he forgave to us and went to the other team. But like I said a little while before, I think we are very lucky because of this generation has seen a lot of very good players from 30 years up to now.
Yeah, that's super interesting, and you really started following the Giants in a golden era, because 1986, so the game you're referring to, that's the NFC Divisional Championship, and I think there is this very famous NFL moment of Jim Burt of the New York Giants knocking out Joe Montana from behind.
Hmm.
It's like I had this image popping up right away, and that was an era when football was still quite brutal. It's still a very physical
Yeah,
game, but today it has changed a lot. And as you said, it is a franchise with very rich history and uh, and a lot of good players. I wasn't aware though that there was a Mexican kicker that had played for the New York Giants. So which period was that?
he was the 86, 90 Super Bowl.
Hmm.
He was a kicker with the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, a little while before he was with the New York Giants. We at the Giants MX podcast have been very lucky to get touch with him, talk very often about some things. Sometimes we're not like in the same page, but I mean, he's like the most accurate person to be talking around the Giants in Mexico, you know?
Yeah, no, that definitely. Okay, yeah. So he's a double Super Bowl winner. That's pretty
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah. So over 40 years, and to be honest, you don't look it, and you don't look the 46 you've been mentioning, which is good. But over that time, so obviously you've witnessed all the Super Bowls the Giants have won. Also, one Super Bowl the Giants lost. If
Yeah.
we set aside the Super Bowls, which are obviously very good memories, uh, do you have a one or two memories about the New York Giants that you keep close to your heart that you really like?
You know, I have saved in all my phone, iPad, tablets, some several plays of Lawrence Taylor sacking the quarterbacks because there's one media that puts like a very good song of him like getting mad in between plays, between games, and the music continues so nice with all his plays, sacking the players, tackling other players. I mean, that's one thing that I have admired through the years, the physicality, mentality of Lawrence Taylor. I mean, all the Giants linebackers and even from other teams, of course, I admire Lawrence Taylor. When I was a kid, of course, I had Lawrence Taylor, I had Phil Simms, then I had Jeremy Shockey, then we had a very good era with Eli Manning, with Plexico Burress, the Mario Manningham. I know you said that not the Super Bowl plays, but I mean, the Mary Manningham
Yeah.
catch on the Super Bowl was, for me, it's like the same page between that catch and the OBJ catch.
Yeah, the 100 catch against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very sad that this day because I was gonna go to that game, but I had a schedule change in work. I'm an Aeromexico pilot, so I get to fly
Okay.
a lot of places. And at that time, I used to fly every 2 weeks to New York to see the games. But especially that game, I had a schedule change, so bummer to me, I couldn't see that game.
Yeah. So, how often have you been to Giant Stadium and MetLife Stadium? Since because yeah, you're in
Mhm.
Mexico, so and your pilot, as you said, so you get to go to the US quite often. So I
Mhm.
imagine that you've got a chance to see the Giants live quite regularly.
Yeah, I don't recall the exact times, but I could tell you, recalling not recently, but a few years ago, I had to I had to yeah, there were games between Giants and Birds in prime time,
Mm.
Jets. I got to watch another game between Patriots and the G-men, and you know Brady was still playing with the Patriots. Eli
Mm.
Manning and OBA were still playing with the Giants, and they beat us, but they it was a very good game. I saw another game between the Giants and Seahawks when they got the Super Bowl championship almost 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, also.
Yeah. Mm.
Uh, but you know, I do not complain because I have been watching very good games live and but I have never been to a Cowboys Giants game. So hopefully so on September 13, I'll be there.
Well, okay, September 13, and we'll talk about the schedule in a bit, but I'll tell you a story. 2023, I went to Texas for some vacation, and I was preparing for this vacation. I was like, great, Giants are going to be playing Dallas. Let's get tickets. And I was
Mm,
so excited. I think we was right after the year when we got qualified in the playoffs. So I thought, well, the Giants are on the up. Daniel Jones is going to lead us. And then that year, that's when the Cowboys beat us 40-0 in MetLife
mhm.
Stadium. So I can tell you that when I went to the stadium in Dallas, and the tickets were not cheap, uh, it was it was a bit difficult, and you could find some Giants fan around the stadium that didn't look very comfortable being there. So it wasn't a very beautiful game because obviously Dallas completely dominated the Giants, but
Hmm.
it was still impressive. Like for example, I think I'll still remember CD Lamb from the Dallas Cowboys, the wide receiver, who's an absolutely beast.
Yeah,
And it's very impressive to see these guys. It's a beautiful stadium. I think it's worth the trip. Uh, just make sure you can. Well, uh, well, you won't see them in Dallas, but if one day you go in Dallas, make sure you go at a time when the Giants are pretty good. But I think you picked the right time this year to go see New
yeah.
York and Dallas play against each other.
And
Okay,
I mean, since it's a division game, the tickets are always that expensive. And
yeah,
I have like some, it's a personal opinion, but I try not to, I have never tried to go to Arlington, Texas to see a game over there. And I get invited often because some of my other colleagues, they have like season tickets and okay, let's go. And now I'm never going to go to Dallas, Texas Stadium. So I'll go to any other stadium you told me, but I hate Dallas. I hate it. So
so that's okay. So that's a great topic because last time when we were interviewing Giant Spain, Ruben from Giant Spain, he told us that the team he hates the most is Philadelphia. Whatever sport, he hates Philadelphia. And it's very common for Giants fan to not like Philadelphia because the two cities are close to one another. It's one of the longest rivalry in the NFL because the Giants and the Eagles have been playing since 1933.
mhm.
For you, it's Dallas. Why is that? Because I would say that the Dallas New York rivalry is less recent, although they've dominated us for quite a few years. I think.
Yeah, it's like the fans, not exactly the team, but the fans, they're so annoying because if you see all around media, it's always like yes, this is our year, this is our year, this is our year. So the fans are very annoying and they tease you with that. And I think Commander and Eagles fans, they respect a little bit too much their rival between the Giants and the Eagles. So that's
Mm.
why with the fans is the most primary reason that I hate the team. And then you can't imagine how many our Mexico pilots are Cowboys fans. We have a chat about that. So I mean, they are annoying. There's a lot of people. So and I'm
Yeah,
only one. I'm only one of that chat. So just
yeah. You
like Ken Reeves in Matrix Reloaded, 1 against 50.
so yeah, so you're the only one in that community representing the Giants, and that's great. And
Mm.
so to talk a bit about the Mexican community of NFL fan and Giants fans. So you've been following the Giants for years, but tell us a bit about how you started this accounts NFL Giants Mexico on Twitter, and then also I think you guys are on Instagram. So on Twitter you've got
Yeah.
a big following. Instagram it's growing, and you were telling me that you also stream with some other guys. So if you could tell us a bit about all of that, that would be very interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's been like 11 years ago. I got an invite with Alvaro, who's also a co-host for the Here in Giants Mexico show. Also Hector, who they weren't available. Alejandro and Martin, there were four, and then we were five. Once they invited me to talk about like the same things we're talking about today. We saw a Dallas Giants game at a bar. We won 10-7 almost 11 years ago. We played playoffs that year. We lost against Green Bay. And afterwards, I got invited again to talk about the same topics. But at that time, they invited to co host the shows. So it's been 11 years, awesome 11 years for me. A while ago, when you told you don't look that old, you look young. I mean, the team is making me look every time older, hopefully so. I'm gonna rejuvenate getting my youth because I have very great expectation this year. Yeah, social media speaking, we have like more people talking to networks via Twitter or Facebook. Martin, who is a very, very good detective of news, he always gets a very specific news on Facebook to be like the not to say repeatedly specifically, but the original news. Because
Right.
sometimes people post a lot of stuff and you don't know who
Yeah.
believed you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Instagram has been like the newest social media to post, but especially Twitter and Facebook has been the most important networks for us to post about the
Yeah.
New York Giants.
Right. And so for the listeners and the viewers who want to follow the Mexican community, you can find them on Twitter at nygiants_mx, and then for Instagram it's nygiantsmx. So we'll put the links in the in the description of this episode. So there's a bit of a French Mexican connection that
Hmm.
starts to be created. So you have this community that you're co-hosting with four other guys, and we say hi to them if they're watching this. So that's a pretty big job, because I, I can tell that already doing that with one co-host. Well, it's always better to do that with someone, and that's how Plax and I started. And sometimes you have one or two guests, and the more people you have around the mic, the trickier it gets because you need to make sure that everybody gets some time to talk and you're not repeating yourself. But that's
Hmm.
also part of the beauty of the exercise, and it gets us closer to the community, and it's good to be talking about the sports and the team that we are also passionate about. Because of the closeness between Mexico and the US, uh, there are obviously games that have been in Mexico happening for a few years now. The Giants haven't been there yet, so hopefully
No.
they'll get there at some point. But uh, we also know that on the Giants.com website, they have a section that is dedicated to the Latino community. I think it's called Los Gigantes, and they have a
Hmm.
podcast called Esquina. I can't remember if it's Esquina Giants or Esquina Gigantes. But anyway, my question to you is, do you interact with those guys? Are they interested in what the Mexican community has to say about the team?
You know, I'm especially not in charge of the messages interaction with other websites. It's, whenever we do a show live, if we're the five guys co-hosting, two, three, we almost like leave several time to each other to express like what happened in a game, what to expect, what you think about the draft, what you think about this specific player. So like everyone, each one of us has specific roles. I get a lot of into fantasy because I play a lot of fantasy leagues across the year. So sometimes I give my opinion about some players, obviously the Giants, and sometimes not Giants players. But my other co-hosts, they're the ones that get most in touch with other Giants community. So it would have been awesome if some of them could have been today with us, but we weren't that lucky. But hopefully, so we can get in touch with them. Also, do another show with you and see how many networks we can connect at the time.
Yeah, no, I think it's a community, an international community that is definitely growing. We are seeing, I mean, today today it's completely mad how many games are played internationally. It started, 2007 with one game in London. I think now you have three games, plus you've got Munich, Paris, Madrid. There's a game in Sao Paulo, although it's in Rio. I can't remember if they're doing it in Rio or
Yeah,
Sao Paulo this
it's
year. And then
really
there
right
is
time.
there is Australia. Yeah, okay. And then there is Australia. So you've got, and if you add Mexico to that, you've got so many games that are being played internationally. So um, I saw an American fan complaining about the fact that they had to wake up at 6:30 to watch a game, 6:30 in the morning to watch a game on a Sunday, which made me laugh because a lot of European fans have to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch a primetime game.
Yeah.
But, it's a challenge, certainly for the players, because they have to travel around and it's not easy. But for the community of fans, it's a great thing. The game that is going to be in Mexico this year, I believe, is San Francisco 49ers against Minnesota Vikings. It's in November.
That's correct. Yeah.
Do you go to those games sometimes, even though the Giants are not playing?
Yeah, I had a tickets a few years ago. The last game that was supposed to be playing out here in Mexico City, the Azteca Stadium, now called Banorte Stadium, that had a capacity of 120,000 people.
Wow.
Right now, we have only 80,000 because of all the remodelation for the next World Cup. But at that time, it was like between 100,000 and 120,000. And I had tickets for Chiefs and Rams games. But since it was the rainy season, they changed also the venue and played in LA. And it was too bad because that game finished with Rams 50 points and the Chiefs 49 points. So it was an awesome game. And too bad it was rainy season in Mexico again, and it couldn't be played over here. But especially San Francisco, Steelers, and obviously the Dallas Cowboys, they try to bring a lot of fans to play at Mexico City.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a market there for the NFL and the Latino community, more broadly, the Hispanic community, if we also include Spain, is quite a big market for the NFL. So there is obviously interest. But again, as I was saying, for the fan, it's quite positive, especially for those who are in Europe and are a bit further from the game. Last thing I wanted to talk to you about, because we had the NFL schedule released recently all across the league. I believe it was on Thursday, and we saw like very creative ways of by NFL teams to show this. I think personally, my favorite is the way the Los Angeles Chargers do it. It's always quite very funny. Did you see what the New York Giants did with Jameis Winston and Jermaine Illuminor?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was specifically original for me because of the hat, the painting, the talking. I mean, Jameis Winston has a very good oral vibe inside the locker room. So I think they picked like the correct people to do that presentation.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jameis is a fantastic person. You almost want to meet him because he looks so approachable. And Jermaine Illuminor, for those who follow him on Twitter, he's someone who really likes to engage with the fan community. So it's good to have those guys playing in blue. They are definitely great contributors. Even like Jameis, even though he's backup quarterback, he's made one of the greatest plays last year against the Detroit Lions, catching a pass, stiff arming a defender, and scoring. Well, that's the triple crown right there.
Yeah, you have to love him.
Oh, he's great. I mean, personally, I think if he can stay on the bench, it means that Jackson Dart is having a great year and he's not injured. But it's good to know that if anything happens to Jackson, because Jackson has a tendency of being a bit too physical for a quarterback, we are in relatively safe hands.
Yeah.
So NFL schedule. Let me pull that up. We have it right here. So you told us you're going to start with the Dallas Cowboy games in MetLife Stadium. It's a primetime game. That's going to be a great one. I don't propose that we go game by game to make predictions, but I just wanted to have your general opinion on this schedule in terms of strength of schedule. Do you think it's worse or better than last year? and what's your general prediction for this year?
Well, for starters, I like it a lot to have a very large amount of games on prime time because it's not like very difficult to see that about our Giants depending on the season. And like you said, if we were talking about each game, we could be here stuck hours talking about the schedule. But for me, the first part of the schedule before the bye week, it's very important. If we have seen statistically what our Giants did on the last one Super Bowls, we were an 8-8 and 9-7 record Super Bowl champions. So that meant that we weren't like having the best of the years on those championships, but we are like a team that gets accustomed to winning, and then they start believing in winning. They get to know each other on the second part of the season, and up we go to the championship. So we may be 9-7, 8-8, but I mean, when we start playing our best, it would be between December and almost January. So that's the part I'm looking to start off, finish strong, but also start strong with a win against the Cowboys. I think between the Rams, we're gonna lose, and they're gonna be tired because of that game. I think at Melbourne, so
Yeah.
hopefully they'll be tired. Uh, Tennessee, Arizona, I think they could be beatable teams because there are reconstruction teams at this time. The Commanders, uh, I think they should be a little worried about Jaden Daniels' arm because he's also like a prone injury. They have very good defense. They have very good head coach. So I don't know about that. And since we're playing a visitor, maybe that would be a loss. Then we go back to MetLife and get a win against the Saints, also a reconstruction team. And then the for me the best the defense in the league is Houston Texans. And off we go to the second part of the season, which is strong. But if you get to win some of those games, you're gonna get a very, very good, strong final part of the season. And hopefully we can get to the playoffs and we'll see
Mm.
what happens. We are a team that nobody ever knows, like the Forrest Gump movie. You never know what you're gonna get. So
Yeah,
but
yeah, like
but faith is always there.
yeah.
It
No,
has to be there.
it has to be there. You're totally right. And well, if when we look at the last part of the schedule, and especially since the month of December, except for the Cleveland Browns, you've got San Francisco 49ers that they were not good last year, not that good, but mostly injured. Got
Mhm.
the Super Bowl champions Seahawks. You've got the Lions, who are a really good team, and then I'm less worried about Dallas, but the Eagles are still tricky at this time. But I think you're right. If we manage to win some of these games, it doesn't matter if we only have 9 or 8 wins. It could be a playoff year, and at least I think that's the hope for a lot of Giants fan, because that's what I was saying in the previous episode with Giants Spain, is that there are a lot of pieces that are very positive in this team, and it looks like we're on the way up. Still feel
Yeah, I
like
mean,
I've
if
been
you,
saying that for years, but yeah, we're on
yeah,
the
I
way up.
know. Yeah, in every part of the world, being a Giants fan, we get the same stuff each year. But I think we have a very good head coach right now. I'm gonna say yet uh fast something. I got some between my Cowboys friends uh, because the Ravens and the Steelers were playing, and I thought if the Ravens kicker misses that field goal and the head coach John Harbaugh goes to the Giants, I'm gonna wear a Cowboys jersey. At that time, everyone took a picture of me saying that in that chat, but 10 seconds afterwards, I erased it. But a lot of people already had taken a photo, so you had to man up and put your Cowboys jersey. But at this time, I don't care because we have a very, very good head coach.
Yeah.
And that part of December and finishing in January, we are gonna see what we are made of.
Yeah.
Depending of the wins we have, but we are gonna see what we are made of. Offensively, I think we're gonna be okay, but I have my curiosity on defense, secondary defense especially.
Well, do you mean like the secondary defense? It's an area of the defense where you think there is some weaknesses, or you're not sure about the quality of the
Yeah,
players?
yeah, weaknesses because they weren't good coach. Defensively, last year we were. I mean, I cannot
Oh,
even
it
talk
was
about it. I
awful.
mean, awful, awful. They were good. I think they were good players. I mean, between Tyler Nubin, Holland, etc. I think
Mm.
they're good players, but they weren't good coached. And schematically speaking, the coach couldn't handle what to do with Kevin Thibodeau, how to draw attention to Carter, Dexter Lawrence, etc., etc. So he had very many good pieces, but he didn't know what to do with them
Yeah, no,
on the
definitely,
line.
and
The
yeah,
same with
no,
the
no,
secondary.
yeah. I mean, we saw so many games, and I think that the worst one was that game against the Devon Broncos, where we
Yeah.
were leading by a lot, and we let them back into the game, and they won. And as you said, yeah, we had the players, we just didn't have the right setting in place. And as soon as Shane Bowen got fired, and they put Bullen in his place, we started seeing towards the end of the year a bit more aggression, a bit more talent on the defensive side. So it was definitely um, a coaching issue.
Yeah.
And now with Harbour at the helm of the Giants, there is a lot of potential to see very good things. So I agree with you. It's going to be exciting to see that. I think it's going to be a very interesting year. And we're already hearing about some changes. Lately it's been very like Dayball and previous coaches. They would put music at
Mhm.
practice, and it was relaxed. And you've got beat writers who are saying, "Oh, there's no more music at Giants practice. Now it's intensity, and intensity."
Mhm.
The drawback of this is that you need to be careful with how you manage the energy of your players, because you don't want them to be completely dead by the end of the year. But
Yeah.
I mean, John
Between,
Harbaugh is
yeah,
is is a future Hall of Fame coach.
of
So
course.
yeah,
Of all the jobless coaches that were out of the job this past off season, I mean, who would who would you like as our new head coach? I mean, a Super
yeah,
Bowl winner. So what else?
no,
What else could we need? I mean, experience for first. I mean, great
no,
experience,
yeah,
developing a lot of great players. I think he had a bad luck at the playoff games with the Ravens, but I think a humanizer coach. And I'm going to explain briefly about this. When Tyler Loop, the kicker of the Ravens, uh, got to miss that last field goal on the playoff game between the Steelers and Ravens, he was the first one to get to hug him. You're young, you're going to have a great career. These things happen even to the best. So
mm,
that's what I like, because he's a humanizing coach, not like a systematic, okay, you have to hug him because it's like a custom thing to do. No, I mean, he's a good person.
yeah, no. He looks like someone who uh, knows how to talk to players, how to reach them, and that's quite important, especially when moments are tough,
Exactly.
because we are going to have tough moments. Not everyone can do a 17-0 season, and when they do, they can't win the Super Bowl. So shows how tough it can be. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, I agree with you. It's good to have John Harbaugh on our side. It's a very exciting season that is coming up. You're quite lucky to go to the first game. So
Hopefully,
uh,
hopefully so. Hopefully so.
yeah, yeah. So we will be looking out for your social accounts, and see if there are nice photos of this game. But yeah, no, that was a great chat. Thank you again, Antonio-Henrique, for taking the time for being here and representing the Mexican Giants fan community. I think we've learned a lot. Anything you'd like to say to close this out?
Well, thank you for the invite. It's been a pleasure to talk briefly about our team, communicate with other networks around the world. It's awesome to know several sightings, point of view about our team throughout the world. So we are at your service at the Near Giants MX, and hopefully we can do that another time with other co-hosts from our network, and we'll have the best season, hopefully so. Faith has to be on our side, and a little luck. We need a little luck.
Yeah,
No?
Always. No, I completely agree with this. Yeah, so as I was telling listeners and viewers last week in the Giant Spain podcast, is if you guys are in Mexico and you want to reach out to the Giants community, if you're there for a game or whatever, I mean, you use the social media links that we'll put down there. I think we need to keep this network of Giants fans around the world alive and growing. We'll keep supporting our beautiful New York Giants.
We'll do that.
Well, thanks again, Antonio-Henrique, for your time, and we'll catch you up very soon.
Thank you very much for the invite. Greetings to everyone, and hope to see you soon.